Most American school children learn to recite this little phrase. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Columbus, in fact, was just one of many explorers sponsored by European monarchs in the 1400s who were all trying to find a better, cheaper, faster route to Asia than their neighbors in order to get an edge on the lucrative trade goods from the East Indies. Knowing perfectly well that the world was round, Christopher Columbus sailed west, set foot on the Bahamas and other islands, and returned back home with stories of the Indians he had met, believing China was just over the horizon. Even though Columbus was completely ignorant of the new continent he had encountered, his voyage changed the course of human history fast. Within 2 years, the Pope had divided the so-called uncivilized world between Portugal and Spain in a deal known as the Treaty of Tordesillas. The islands Columbus explored became known for all posterity as the West Indies, and the native inhabitants of the entire hemisphere became collectively known as Indians. Columbus was followed by wave upon wave of European explorers and conquerors motivated by God, gold, and glory. Some of the long-term effects of this contact are the subject of another lesson called the Columbian Exchange, in which people, diseases, foods, and animals moved across the globe. But some of the earliest contacts between Europeans and Native Americans very quickly and permanently shaped the development of North America. Whether they were looking for riches, hoping to spread Christianity, or wanting fame back home, their most important legacy was in the things they left behind. Everywhere the explorers went, death followed. There were 60,000 people living on this island, including the Indians, noted a Spanish priest named Bartolomé de las Casas, so that from 1494 to 1508, over 3 million people had perished from war, slavery, and the mines. While the priest's estimate of the population before Columbus arrived are probably off by quite a bit, it did only take 30 years to nearly eradicate the native population of the Bahamas. And though there was war and slavery and overwork, the biggest killer by far was disease. The Western Hemisphere had been completely free of infectious diseases that were common in Europe, so the indigenous people had absolutely no exposure or resistance to illnesses like smallpox, which spread from tribe to tribe along the trade routes, even in places where Europeans never even set foot. It's impossible, of course, to get a precise pre-Columbian population count, but by using observable models and reliable censuses, modern historians commonly accept that around 90% of all Native Americans died as a result of contact with Europeans. In general, the effects were the worst in South and Central America, where the Spanish explored in the 1500s. But that's not to say North America avoided the epidemic, it just took a little longer.